All right. So thank you for being here with us together in this practice. And for those of you that chime in later through recording, I'm glad that you're here as well. And it's an opportunity to drop in for self-care. My theme today of what we're going to practice together is around contraction and expansion, this kind of core set of rhythms that live in all of life, ourselves included, all of nature, ourselves included, and that when we observe or experience times in ourselves where we feel contracted or tight, tense, or maybe a little depressed, shut down, that is the more that we can embrace and turn towards and make space for those periods of contraction, the less that we're going to make ourselves wrong for that. I invite us to remember that these contractions are seen everywhere. Like if you imagine the bird that's going to close her wings or his wings, right, and tuck in and then go into the expanse of, opening up and flying, right? And we feel it in our weather patterns. We can feel those low pressure systems, and then we can feel when everything lightens up. We can see it in clouds. I took a time lapse, if any of you watched this. I took this time lapse last night of the sunset. And there's this one section where you can just really watch a cloud kind of form and disperse. And so that experience within us, it's such a lovely play within yoga because we can really feel those contracted states and those expansive states. And I also really want to just name that that's what we're in as a world right now. We're going into contractions and we're expanding, right? You can think about birth itself, what a prime example of the function of the contractions to make way for something new, to open up for this new birth. So here we are in a kind of collective, perhaps rebirth. We can hope that there's something like that out of this period of time that some people are referring to as this great pause, right? This forced shutdown and this slowing down and re-evaluation phase of what is it that we're going to bring into the expansion when everything opens up again. And so I want to share a poem, and then I want to guide us into practice. And the poem is something that I've heard many times over the years. It's also something that I posted earlier this week for those of you that may have read it in one of my sunset posts. But it's Kindness by Naomi Shihab Nye. And it's really about what helps us remember that loss and compassion and love are so deeply connected. So you can just allow these words to wash over you. Before you know what kindness really is, you must lose things. Feel the future dissolve in a moment like salt in a weakened broth. What you held in your hand, what you counted and carefully saved, all this must go so that you know how desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness. How you ride and ride thinking the bus will never stop. The passengers eating maize and chicken will stare out the window forever. Before you learn the tender gravity of kindness, you must travel where the Indian in a white poncho lies dead by the side of the road. You must see how this could be you, how he too was someone who journeyed through the night with plans, and the simple breath that kept him alive. Before you know kindness as the deepest thing inside, you must know sorrow as the other deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow. You must speak to it till your voice catches the thread of all sorrows and you see the size of the cloth. Then it is only kindness that makes sense anymore. Only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you out into the day to gaze at bread. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, "It is I you have been looking for," and then goes with you everywhere, like a shadow or a friend. So with those words, taking a moment to perhaps reflect on the places where you have lost things, the experiences of contraction, maybe the fears, the tenderness that has shown up during this time or in other times of your life that maybe resurface or arise asking for our own kindness. And as an invitation for practice to make room, right? We don't come to the yoga mat to get all love and light, even though there's often that outcome. But it's really about turning toward and making space for our stuck and unclear and tense and caught places. And we can turn toward these experiences with curiosity and compassion. We can honor and hold these contractions and simply make space by connecting to the realms of potential. If you'd like, just tuning in for how your intention today might become uniquely yours. What is it that you'd like to kind of place sacredly at the top of your mat, to attend to with curiosity and compassion? And then from here, we'll bring attention to the body, scanning a little bit more thoroughly with your awareness. Maybe some micro movements. Where do you feel that a little bit more breath is called for? A little bit of movement, organic at this stage. I'm going to slide myself back. Just taking your time in this transitional moment as we prepare for movement. And for our initial breath practice, I'm going to invite you to place your hands on your knees and inhale forward. And we're going to emphasize breathing right through the diaphragm. So if you can kind of really tune into your belly and your diaphragm and expand right there. And on an exhale, just allow your spine to come back. I'll show this from the side for a moment. Just allow your spine to come back and really draw navel and diaphragm back. You can curl as I'm doing here. You can even stick your tongue out. Inhale, again, using the hands to press against the knees. Expand right into here. Exhale. 3 more like that. Finding your rhythm. Letting something go on that exhale. Inhale. You can pause at that point of empty if you like. Let's do one more. Inhale, puff up through the diaphragm, the belly, the ribs. Exhale. Let yourself empty. Pause at the bottom. And then inhale to center, just lengthening the spine. This time, a little bit more emphasis in the upper lungs. Inhale to draw arms up. Exhale, press the air away. You might switch here to nose breath. In doing so, maybe adding a new Ujjayi pranayama. It'll have an audible quality to the exhale, a contraction in the back of the throat that creates that sound, but exhaling through the nose. 2 more here. And again. Good. And hands to knees. We'll find a few breaths in each direction. You can make this yours. Some of you have been practicing with me now for a little while, really finding those points of contraction. You can squeeze it in, you can expand, you can pause, maybe really toggle right over an area that feels tight. Send your awareness right in there. Welcome those places into the folds of the practice. Going both directions, switching it out if you haven't. Inhale, lengthening here. And then we'll bring hands to shoulders. So similar to what we started with, this time in robin's breath. And you can imagine your arms here as the wings. Inhale, open your wings, puff up your chest. Exhale, tuck your beak, tuck your head, bring your wings together. Inhale to expand. Exhale to contract. This time you might really notice in your neck and throat. Exhale, draw it in, contract around the thyroid. Fresh blood flow coming in. Squeeze it all out. You can imagine how the pumps in the heart, really pressing everything through, squeezing to empty, open for flow. And then switching the arms, opening your wings here, nice broad wingspan, open the hands. Exhale, let's press the palms firmly together. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze to midline. Inhale, open, fly. Really let that squeeze to midline serve you here. Inhale, expand. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, let those wings take flight. And exhale, last time to center. Releasing it out. So we did this last time. I'm going to do it again today. I've been loving this in my personal practice. We're going to inhale, expand. Exhale, we're going to come into a seated simple twist. Again, you can do this in a chair. Right fingertips behind, left fingers on the right knee. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale to deepen the twist. And taking your chin over your right shoulder, your gaze to the right corners of their sockets. And then keeping left hand where it is. Inhale, right hand up, and we're going to lean to the left. So taking left shoulder toward the left knee, and then reaching that right arm up. Now you might only come this far, you might come all the way down, doesn't matter. Really honoring your body, breathing into the intercostals between the ribs. Finding those little sticky spots, and you can once again make this yours. You might lean forward, look down. You might rotate up, look up. Letting those sticky spots be your teacher. Where do you want to, breathe into? Where's the contraction? Where's the opening? And then inhale out of the twist, placing right hand behind. Inhale once again, and exhale. Let's just take one more seated twist. Same side. Inhale, let's open the arms, just one big V, untwist there, let's open up. Let's feel the heart. And let's take it to side two. Right hand, left knee, left fingertips behind, taking a moment to lengthen the spine, and exhale to deepen. Chin comes around, eyes come around. You can anchor that right sits bone down so that the pelvis stays grounded forward even as you twist the spine, exploring those nuances. And then from here, partially untwist, keeping the right hand as it is and coming up and over. Right shoulder toward the right knee. And here's where you might make this yours. You can twist up a little bit, twist down. Notice the left side body, intercostals between the ribs. Sending your breath into those sticky spots. We're welcoming them in. And then up and out. One more time. Back to that twist. Inhale. Exhale to deepen. And then inhale, big wide V. Just open the arms up. Receive all that space. And exhale it down. Good. One more brief practice here, seated, a little bit more into the side bodies. We're going to take the right hand toward the right side and lean directly toward that side, taking left arm up overhead. Now, if it's too much for the shoulder, you can keep the hand rooted onto the hip, listening to your body. And you can lean in, you can lean out, finding your rhythm, maybe a little bit of undulation of the spine here. Lengthen through the fingertips, grounding through that left hip. Again, tuning into your neck, gazing down, forward, or up. And then we'll lift up here, staying with the left side of the spine, taking right ear toward right shoulder. This time walking the left fingertips away. Right hand can stay rested or come up and around, cupping your left ear. So there's no tug on the neck, or the head, but just really encouraging awareness. I like to imagine that I'm puffing up like a little balloon in the left side of my neck, sending the breath right there. And slowly unwind, allowing head to come back to center. Left hand's in place. Let's go ahead and lean to the left. Right hand can stay by the right hip or come up and over. And then allowing yourself to fine tune, listening to your sensations. Let them guide subtle movements here. Rotating forward and back, undulating the side body. I always find it so remarkable that we can lean into these sticky spots, and then there's this transitional place where what feels a little uncomfortable begins to actually feel a little pleasurable. So we can go toward and trust the body's wisdom. Lifting up on this side, taking right fingertips away, leaning left ear to left shoulder, maybe left hand comes up and around. Inhale and really breathe into the right side of the neck. Here you might even find some very subtle movements. Chin waving a little up and down, really reaching from the inside of the neck out. And then slowly releasing, head comes back to center. Maybe rotate your shoulders one way and the other. Good. And then from here, we're going to take the legs out forward. And I'm going to just turn to the side for a moment. We're going to come into the core just a little bit. It'll help us for where we're going today. And I'm going to invite you to lean back a little bit. We'll find Navasana boat pose. So you can always keep your toes on the ground. You can allow your hands to support underneath your knees. Maybe you lift your feet off of the earth and find a little bit more balance just behind the sits bones, right? Perhaps you take the arms out by your sides and allow the core to help support just a little bit more. If you notice that you're collapsing through the chest, really use the arms, get that nice long spine, re-extend. Some of you might explore extending through the legs. Ooh, there's a little shake there, right? All good. From here, we're going to re-bend and we're going to take a little bit of a flow. So I'll show this way. I'm going to extend left arm, left leg. Back here to boat, you can use your hands, extend right arm, right leg, come back with or without the arms, supporting the legs, and then we're just going to alternate sides. You can turn toward the opening arm. You can begin to coordinate breath. Inhale, center, exhale to twist. Inhale, exhale. One more each side. Good. Coming back to center. Before we leave our boat, we'll do just a little bit more. Both sides out and then in. Half boat. Coming back up. One more. All right, let's come all the way down onto the back. And I like personally to use a block once I'm in this shape between the thighs. It helps with that hugging to midline. If you have a block, great. If you have a rolled up towel, good place for it. If you don't have any of those, don't worry about it. It's just fine. From here, taking the hands behind the head. Inhale, Exhale, lifting the spine. Inhale to lower. Just a little bit here, waking up through the core, waking up through that midline connection so we can sense the role that contraction has. Helps to keep us grounded, connected into the core of who you are. So that when we expand, we don't give it all away. From here, you can lower down for a moment, and if you'd like, taking the soles of the feet off of the earth. Again, you can squeeze the block if you have one. Inhale, exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. I think I might have said that backwards. I'm inhaling down, exhaling to lift. So sorry for the confusion there. Letting yourself find your breath with movement. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. One here. Good. Now this next one, I like to use the block, and again, if you don't have one, we'll find another way here, but what we're going to do is we're going to take right elbow to the block, inhale, lower, exhale, left elbow to the block. If there's no block, if legs are together, that's fine. You're just taking elbow toward the inside of the legs, the place between. So we're not going all the way to the outside, but just finding that twist and lift. Inhale, lower, twist and lift to exhale. Good. Last ones each side. And lower. Removing the block. For a moment, hug it all in. Just hug your shins, rock a little side to side. And then from here, planting the feet. A few moving bridge poses. And if you did this with me last week, you're used to this. If this is new, maybe gaze forward before you lift your hips or gaze toward the screen. We're going to inhale, arms lift, hips lift. Exhale, we roll the spine down, we move the arms down. We're going to do just two more like that. Finding your range of motion. This does not need to be your most extensive bridge, just feeling the spinal movement. And then this next one, hands are going to stay down, hips are going to lift. Just for a moment, a little bit more action here. You can press inner thighs towards each other once again. You can draw the heels toward the hips, engaging through the hamstring muscles. That's where I was a little sore after last week's class. Engaging through the inner thighs, engaging through the buttocks, just a little bit here. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then very slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, we're going to roll the spine down. So if you found that you lowered in a chunk, go ahead and lift back up. And you can practice this just a few times to see how it feels. It's quite challenging to really just lay one little pearl down at a time as you lower your spine to the earth. Good. And then once you arrive, sacrum can flower open soft into the mud. Lifting knees off, taking hands behind the knees, a few rocks on the spine if that serves your body, and eventually rocking up and over. We'll meet in a tabletop. So if you prefer to have a little padding under your knees, adding that, honoring your body. Once we arrive in tabletop, I'm going to invite you to do this little flow. We're pressing hips toward heels. We're going to lower elbows down, and then we're going to roll across the elbows, rolling up onto the hands. Now for my wrist and shoulder folks, check this out. See how it feels. If you need to modify, modify. Otherwise, we're going to really just roll slowly up to the palms, up to tabletop, and then begin to arch the spine as you sit back. You can take this nice and slow, feeling that each little area of your spine can get attention, all of those little contractions. And then we're going to roll up to cow, taking it slow, using your palms to help draw your heart through. Nice slow roll here. Open up through the diaphragm, the belly, and then arch it up. You can press knees and or thighs toward each other. Really squeeze to midline in this transition back. We'll do one more like that. Rolling it through. Using forearms, hands to draw heart through. Open the rib cage, diaphragm, belly. Exhale, arch the spine, tuck the tail, nice and slow. Let's do just a little bit in the opposite direction. We're going to raise up through cat, arching the spine, tucking tailbone, tucking the head, and then let's lower through cow. Begin to lift head and tail. And sit the sits bones toward the heels. Take your time. Find those little pockets of contraction. Honor them. Okay, one more like that. Oh, arching the spine. Slowly lift. Find yourself inside yourself. And then cow, lift head, lift tail. Slowly descend. This time, we'll transition back to tabletop. Finding a base here, I'll widen my knees just a little. Nice, strong base. And then extending the left leg back, extending the right arm forward. Inhale, lifting both. Exhale, contracting, drawing elbow and knee under the body, cross lateral. Inhale, expand. Exhale, contract. Here it is again. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to open. Exhale, listen carefully, bending the knee, extending the arm back. Now this is a beautiful place to stay. Just really reaching toward, or some of you might take hold of the ankle. No right, no wrong. If you do, pressing into that bind to support the expansion. Breathing across the front body. Using the point of connection, expand. And then without slingshotting, slowly release, hand, knee, and for a moment, just let yourself free flow. Maybe a few circles of the spine, maybe like that image of the cloud, condensing and expanding with the breath, guided by sensation. And then when you're ready, we'll find side two. Extending right leg back, left arm forward. Inhale, a little lift. Exhale under the body. Inhale, reach. Exhale, draw it in, contract. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, listen carefully, pausing in the lift, bending through the left knee, extending right arm back. Beautiful place to stay. Or maybe making contact, taking hold, and kicking into that bind. From here, inhale. Exhale, smoothly release. Hand and knee. Curling the toes under. Inhale, lift head, tail. Exhale, press back. Downward facing dog. And another place to find some free form. How does your body make this yours? I obviously want to go on a little Ferris wheel ride right now. You can join me if you like. Lifting your heels, coming a little forward to plank, bending the knees, rolling back. But honoring however your body wants to make this transition. You can bend both knees, one and then the other. Move your head around your hips. And we'll be revisiting this shape, but for now, taking a slow walk toward the top of your mat. Once your feet arrive, finding your first forward fold. Hands can come to the earth or to block, or pinkies to elbow creases, whatever serves you. Knees can be bent. You can work towards straightening. There is no right or wrong. And then from here, we're going to take a transition to standing. I believe we did this last week. Many of you are used to this with me by now if you've been taking with me. And you could use a block for this too. I'm going to show this one with a block today. And we're going to go ahead and bend the knees nice and deep. So we find a long spine. And we can take the arms back. So from this place, we're drawing navel back. We're really engaging through the core of the body. We're squeezing toward midline with or without a block there. And you might shift your hips back and take your arms forward. Now the gaze is down once you feel like you understand the shape so that your neck can be long. And then let your breath rise to meet the shape. There's a little intensity, so we're squeezing the block. You can simultaneously press heels in opposite directions. So we've got this opposition of inward contraction and outward press and navel to spine, and then from there pressing into the feet, long spine, up to standing. Whew. Exhale, releasing the hands, mountain pose. So I'm going to keep the block today for this next little standing sequence. Again, you can fold up a blanket or a towel and use that there if you don't have a block. We'll inhale from here, if I can get back enough so my arms stay in the picture, and draw the arms up overhead. Here we go. And then from here, we're going to take the right arm back, left arm forward. And the hips are going to want to follow the shoulders. So the block and the hips, we want to really keep facing forward. My hip points are forward, even as my arms are twisted. You can take the head for a ride or keep it forward. No right, no wrong there. But we're really feeling how the hips can stay rooted and grounded, distinguished from that opening of the rib cage, the mid-spine. And then inhale. Let's switch the other side. Drawing the arms up and exhale the other way. So again, catch if that left hip wants to follow the left shoulder. Anchor the hips forward, really making that distinction so that the mid-spine can expand while we keep that contraction in the lower body. And that allows for you to hold on to something that can expand but stay grounded. Beautiful. Inhale up to center. Exhale. Let's take the right hand toward the right hip. Again, you can use the block if you like today. Just up and over into the side body. Maybe the gaze comes down, forward, or up. And then inhale. Let's take it to side two. Again, opening through the side body. You can even press the hand into the leg so that we feel that strong base as we open into the diaphragm and rib cage. And then inhale, lifting up. We're going to lower both hands. I'll take my block out for this one. And we'll draw arms up overhead. We're going to expand here as we open through the heart. And then lifting up, lowering the hands, interlace, and lower the connected hands. Find the bind. Breathing into the shoulders. If it's too much on your body, you can just modify, take out the bind, hold the strap. And some of you've guessed it, we're going to forward fold with the bind in the hands. Now my feet are hip width apart. You can step them wider if you'd like. And your palms might be together. They might separate. That's okay. Again, you can use a strap here if you prefer. You can figure eight through your head. Nod it yes, shake it no. Let a sound go. And then slowly by way of your sacrum, releasing your hands down to the earth, finding a halfway lift and lengthen. And exhale, we'll plant the hands, stepping back, high plank, and pausing for just a moment. So lowering the hips. Now for my wrist folks, you can do this on your forearms, right? So you can protect your wrists right here. For my shoulder folks, I'm not sure how either of those will work. You're going to adapt, right? And whichever version you're taking in this plank hold, just finding your breath. Maybe your intention for today. Greeting the little contraction, the little shake that can happen right here. And then inhale. Exhale, knees. Chest and chin, bending at the elbows, pausing for a moment in this little inchworm shape. And then exhale, lowering hips, feet to the earth. Palms can plant here. Let's find some rolling cobras. So your choice how much weight in the hand. You can lift the spine without any hands at all, or maybe you press into the hands, lift a little higher. You can explore how it feels to draw your snake tail together. Press heels together. Press the tops of the toes into the mat, the inner thighs pressing together. And then freeing up the spine for that expansion. 2 more breaths here. And then for a moment, pressing into the hands, hips to heels. Let's take a brief pause in child's pose. Child's pose may or may not feel restful if it's too much on your knees, hips stacked above the knees, and you can walk the hands forward, chest, chin, forehead. Whichever version you're choosing, let yourself soften just a little bit in the breath, in the mind. Maybe returning to that word, kindness. Knowing that there will be more opportunities for rest, very slowly begin to transition back through to table, curling the toes under, lifting head, tail, inhale. And exhale, downward facing dog. Finding your breath. How has this shape changed? Second time here. And then from here, once again, making your way to the front of the mat. You can walk there, you can pounce there, right? Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, all the way to standing. Exhale, right arm back, left arm forward, hips stay forward. Inhale to mountain. Exhale, open it to side two. Inhale. Let's side bend here. Still a little bit of flow in what we've already done. Inhale. Side two. Inhale, little change here. Exhale, bending through the elbows, lifting the heart. And this time inhale and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, folding in, planting hands, stepping back, high plank. This time an option to lower down halfway. You can always come back to the earth, knees, chest, chin, or we're going to roll over the toes, lifting up into upward facing dog. First time here, just pausing for a moment, really using the arms here, the shoulders rolled back, drawing the heart forward and through. And then rolling back over the toes, pressing back, downward facing dog. Our now third time here, and a lovely place as we revisit the shape to track change, to notice how the backs of the legs begin to open. Maybe it's a little easier to extend heels toward the earth. Maybe you notice little bits of shaking or energy that's moving through there. And then from here, gazing forward your way to the front of the mat. Inhale, finding a halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, all the way to standing. This time, exhale, bending the knees, extending the fingertips to the earth. And keeping the knees bent, we'll lift up into Utkatasana. Allowing yourself to find your way into this shape. You might begin to just explore that relationship of expansion and contraction here, noticing how it feels to deepen into the hips and the legs. Maybe you even do this little flow of pressing the forearms together and then open up, expanding through the chest. Exhale, drawing it into midline. Inhale. Exhale. This time a little change. Inhale. Exhale, taking right arm underneath the left. Eagle arms, allowing yourself to lift a little through the elbows and exhale, lower. Now my arms have single and double crossed here. If that doesn't work, you can hug yourself. Take our hands to opposite shoulders. It feels good, right? Either way, we're going to do a little bit of lifting in the elbows. Exhale, contract. Uddiyana Bandha. Inhale. Exhale. So Uddiyana Bandha refers to diaphragm lock, where we're drawing the diaphragm up and in on that exhale. Inhale. It's like a little vacuum effect. Emptying completely. One more like that. This time, exhale. We'll give the legs a brief respite. Go ahead, lift the arms, lengthen out of the legs. And exhale, Utkatasana, bending through the knees, right? Lifting through the arms. And exhale, this time left arm under right. Here we are, single or double wrap or self-hug, feels so good. Right. So you might notice one position with the arms, one arm underneath, easier than the other. Just honoring your body. We're going to move with the breath. Inhale, lift the elbows. Exhale, draw it in. Maybe elbows touch the knees. Scoop the belly in. All right, moving the breath. Beautiful. Inhale, let's fly the arms open out of the contraction. Release the legs. Maybe you felt a little shake there. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, your way to down dog. Always completely an option just to step right back there. Or if you want to vinyasa through, finding that. Your practice. From downward dog, it's allowing yourself to find a little bit of that free flow before we go on. You can always rest in child's pose. Otherwise, freeing the left leg back and behind for a moment, this three-legged shape. 3 points of contact with the earth. Right leg lifted up. Gazing forward, we're going to step the right foot forward and through. Now you might need a hand to help it get up there, and that's totally fine, right? From here, just a few breaths, allowing yourself to come in and out, honoring this right hemisphere of your body, what it's holding for you today. Good. And then from here, we're going to ground into the left heel, preparing to come into warrior two. So it's a little bit of a windmill up and around, and then you can come in and out of this shape. So new relationships of hips to gravity. And then from here, when you're ready, you can extend the arms. Maybe you take your gaze out over the right fingertips. And a lovely interplay, even in this shape, of grounding, rooting. You can imagine that you're going to try and curl up your mat between your feet. So you're going to envision that you're squeezing your feet toward each other. You're sliding them, but they don't move. So you feel that midline strong contraction in the lower body. Lets the upper body just expand. And then from here, we're going to inhale away. I'm going to turn the opposite way for a moment so you can see with the arms where we're going. We're going to take a half bind. The left arm is going to go behind as the right arm reaches up and away. We're going to keep this bind as we flow into extended side angle. So you can take that right forearm to the thigh, and then maybe you even walk left fingertips to the inside of your right leg. And some of you are saying, my hand's way back here. Totally fine, right? Just honor it. And from that shape, we're going to roll that left shoulder back, right? So you can use the bind here to actually facilitate a little bit more expansion across the shoulders, rib cage, diaphragm. Your gaze might tend back toward that left shoulder, or you might take it down, right? Honoring your neck, finding those little points that are calling for your attention. And then from here, we'll free it all out. Unrelease the bind, release the arms, release the right leg, reverse triangle. And then on an exhale, Trikonasana, long reach through the right arm, and then rotate the arms. You can press into the leg. You could use a block here, right? Some of you might press the back of the hand to the leg or fingers to the floor. Doesn't matter, right? What matters is how it feels on the inside. And once again, feel that strong base as we open and expand our wings. Softening your gaze, softening through the right leg. Inhale, reach away. And exhale, we windmill to the earth. Release the right leg back to meet the left. And then your way to down dog. Now, you may want to skip that vinyasa. All wise choices, so long as it's guided by your body. I'm just offering a practice. Your body, your teacher. Coming back to breath. And then we'll find side two. So lengthening through your left leg, let's acclimate for a moment. 3 points of contact with the earth. And then we take our gaze forward, using the core to step left foot forward and through. And a few breaths here. You can come in and out. Greet your right hip flexor, your left hamstring. We're on the left hemisphere of your body, and we listen. We honor what side two can both learn from side one and also have very different needs sometimes. We have different knees, different hips, right? Different ankles, different feet. And as you're ready, we'll transition into standing on side two. I'm going to turn my body here. And then as we do so, we plant the right heel. And we can windmill all the way up. Warrior two. And come in and out on this side. Exploring, once again, what's the story? What are the sensations wanting you to know? How does your body respond? uniquely. The other side is long gone now, right? Now we're just here. Maybe you extend your arms, your gaze out over your left fingertips. And then from here, you can begin to reach away. Now here's where we'll find that half bind. And maybe the hands will even reach around. You can see fingertips to the inside of that left leg, or maybe hand just resting on the back of your sacrum. From this half bind, coming up and over into extended side angle with that bind. Now, a lovely opportunity to lean into that right arm, rotate that right shoulder back and down. Maybe your gaze comes back, forward or down. I like to gaze down a little bit in opposition to rolling that right shoulder back. Just exploring. What's your body needing? Let's unbind the body, unwind the mind, right? Come all the way up and out, both arms free, both legs free. Reverse triangle. And on an exhale, long reach, 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 and rotate. Your Trikonasana, side 2. The little nuances are what really makes it interesting from a sensation standpoint, right? So allowing yourself to just fine-tune where your gaze falls, where your lower hand goes, what's happening with your right fingertips. And then softening the gaze, softening the left knee, maybe a brief visit to Warrior 2, and then windmill down. Your way to downward dog. And we have one more little bind flow here. And we'll explore this together. Inhale, drawing the right leg up. Exhale, stepping forward and through, grounding into the left heel. This time, we're going to lift up into Warrior 1. So, unlike Warrior 2, where everything's opening to the side, this time we're turning the hips, squaring the hips toward that right knee, toward that right foot, or the front of your mat. Now, there's nothing forced in this, so we encourage the hips forward. The hips will at some point say, that's enough. Then we can bring the hands to the rib cage and differentiate the mid-spine as we encourage the rib cage forward. And then from here, the arms might lift. Maybe for a moment your gaze lifts towards your hands. Now you can bring your hands out over your heart instead of the crown of your head. And just creating a little bit of space here as you descend into the lunge and lift the heart. Inhaling here. Exhaling, releasing the hands behind your back. As we did standing with forward fold, inhale, draw connected hands, or you can use a strap, behind you, drawing down the back leg to lift the heart. And exhale, keeping the bind as we come into humble warrior. Right shoulder to the inside of your right knee. Arms can lift up, opening through the back side of your heart. Slowly Inhale, lengthen your spine. Releasing the hands. And coming all the way back up through warrior two, warrior one. Exhale, releasing the hands to the earth. And stepping right foot back to meet the left. Now you can find a vinyasa if you want. I'm skipping it this time. Let's find this on side two. Inhale, freeing your left leg. Exhale, gazing forward, stepping forward and through. Drawing the arms up, finding your way into warrior one. Once again, this is nothing forced. We explore, you might even open the hips and then begin to progress them toward that closed position. Hip points turning toward the front of the mat. Nothing forced. Once the hips say that's enough, hands to rib cage, letting the torso take the rest of the action. From there, drawing the arms up if you like. Maybe palms touch, maybe gaze lifts. Maybe you descend into the front lunge just a little bit more. And exhale, sweeping the hands down. Interlace. And using the hands, drawing down the back leg to open the heart. On an exhale, forward fold to be inside of your left leg. Connected hands up overhead, head heavy, released soft. Letting anything unnecessary for you right now drip off your shoulders, off the top of your head, and then we let it go, releasing the hands, unbinding, inhale, lifting all the way through warrior one. And exhale, down to the earth. Your way, downward dog. From downward dog, gazing forward and a little walk toward the front of your mat. You can transition up to standing, maybe with a long spine, maybe hands to hips, listening to your body. And we'll do a little balance flow before we come down onto the mat. In our balance flow, we're going to link together two balancing postures. We've been preparing for this all class. So the first of these will be eagle pose. I'm going to demo just briefly this transition, and then sometimes it's helpful to see it before you take it into your own body. So let me show this. I'm going to show it from the side. Eagle will be a little harder to see, but we're going to go from eagle into dancer. So let me show you where we're going here. We come through Utkatasana. I'm just going to do this quickly, so we won't be going through this nearly as quickly together. We find our eagle. We're going to fly, lifting the right leg without setting it down perhaps, taking a hold of the ankle, and we fly once again. So two binding patterns, a compression within, and then there's a bind here in dancer that we can press against to expand the heart. Sound good? Shall we do it together? Yeah, thanks for your thumbs up. Okay. We'll start with the Utkatasana, that bending of the knees. Inhale as we did earlier, drawing the arms up. This time, right arm underneath the left. Single or double bind, maybe that self-hug. Okay, from here, we're going to weight into the left leg. It helps to find a point of gaze down on the floor with your eyes. So I'll guide you through. You don't have to watch me. Okay, lifting through the right leg. And then we're going to take the right leg up and over. Now you can kickstand that right foot on the floor, or maybe you double wrap. And then we begin to lean the shoulders back. Eagle pose. Maybe you even lift the elbows. The forearms might obstruct your view. We use peripheral vision. We use the inner ear to help with balance. One more breath here. And then we release the arms, release the legs. Hey, maybe that right leg stays lifted. And exhale. Show this from the side if you're watching. We're going to take the left leg back. Right hand takes a hold of the inside of the right foot. You can contract it in and expand it out. Pressing ankle towards hand, feeling that bow shape, letting your left fingertips reach toward the realms of potential. And then, slowly, slowly, coming back, maybe for a moment, just hugging it in, hugging right knee in, curling toward that right leg, and then setting it onto the earth. Once you arrive there, shake it out. Maybe your left foot, your hips, shoulders, neck, jaw, eyes, arms, hands. Let it all go. So put away side two for a moment. Just come on in. Maybe palm over your heart, palm over your belly. Soften your jaw. Soften slightly through your knees. Feel your connection to the earth. Sending your breath into any area of your body that's remembering that last shape. Inviting the breath to help sweep away any of the contracted residue, and then softening for a moment into the expansion. All right, now we'll find side two. Bending through the knees. Opening your eyes if they're closed. All right, inhale to fly the arms. Exhale, left under right. Single, double wrap, self-hug. All good options. This time we weight into the right foot. It's left leg up and around, single or double wrap. You might notice that side one and side two have different stories to tell, honoring this side of you. Maybe you lean the shoulders back a little. Maybe you lift the elbows. And hey, if you're falling in and out, if you want a wall or a windowsill, go for it. They're all valuable, right? It's not the shape, it's what happens inside. And then slowly we begin to unwind through the arms, lifting the left leg. I always think of that Karate Kid image here, right? Oh. And then from here, we're going to take the left leg back, right hand taking hold of the left ankle. You can curl it in for a second and then reach away. Finding dancer, not Turajasana. That capacity to dance in all that is. The chaos, the destruction, the worry, the fear, and yet we choose to dance right here. One more breath, reach, expand, and slowly begin to release. Maybe you hug that left knee in one more time. And then settling into earth, let it go, shake it out. Whatever your body is needing to honor what bubbles to the surface in a shape. What new awareness of you is being asked for right now. And we will do further integration as we descend to the earth. Inhale, sweeping arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, planting hands, either a vinyasa or just stepping back. Downward dog. We will make our way into half pigeon. For my knee challenged friends, you can come to your back for a supine figure 4. And for those that want half pigeon, inhale, lifting through left leg. This time it's knee that comes forward on the exhale toward the right wrist. And you can toe heel or walk that left foot back. From here, inhale, fingertips to the earth, lengthening your spine. Untuck the toes. And exhale, walking yourself into a forward fold. Now, that may sound quite daunting, right? Depending on you, your body, you could use a block under your chest. You can place a block underneath the right hip, right? So honoring, making space for you, because once again, it's not the outer shape. It's what happens within you as you greet these different areas of your body, this time the right hip. So if you're on your back, to find a supine figure 4, sending your breath there, wherever you are. Honoring that bit of contraction in this place, in you, with your breath and awareness. Noticing any area that's holding on to tension that doesn't need to be there. Your shoulders, your jaw, your eyes, your tongue, back of the neck. And then slowly, slowly pressing into your hands to lift through your heart. Back toes can curl back under. And extending your right leg up and long. Maybe open the hips for just a moment. Breathing into the right psoas. And extending right foot back down to the earth. We will find side 2. Inhale, lifting left leg. Exhale, left knee toward left hand. Or on your back, supine figure 4. Finding your breath here. Inhale to lift. Exhale, your way in. Maybe a block under that left hip. Maybe a block under your chest. Perhaps descending your forehead to rest onto something. Shoulders heavy. Jaw released. And then slowly, slowly, pressing into the hands. Lifting the heart, curling the right toes under. And one more effortful engagement, extending the left foot back. Maybe you stack the hips, bend through the left knee, roll open before setting left foot down to the earth. And then either walking feet forward or lowering the knees will make a transition all the way onto the back. A few final closing postures that I'll lead you through. However, if you have any final movements that your body is saying, I need this, I'm really wanting to do this posture today, I'm going to ask you to honor that, because that's the whole purpose of this practice, is to awaken your relationship to sensations so that you can free flow and go into those forms and honor how your contractions guide you into healing movements. Once you arrive on your back, if you're following me here, I will encourage both legs up, both knees toward your chest, a little rock side to side on your spine. And then if you'd like, a little happy baby, taking a hold of your ankles and a little rocking right here. From this, we'll keep the right knee in, we'll extend the left leg long, and we'll find our way into half wind removing pose as we use the hands to hug right knee toward right shoulder. And supine twist as we free the right knee to come up and over to the left side. You might extend both arms or the right arm long. You might gaze toward the right. And then softening chin to center, hips, knees to center. Can draw both knees in for a moment. And we'll switch sides, keeping hold of the left knee, extending the right. A breath or two here, half wind removing. So good for the descending colon on the side. And then up and over, supine twist. Your gaze can counterbalance the shape. Nothing forced. And slowly back to center. Knees in. This time hugging everything to a tight ball. Knees tucked towards the nose, nose toward chin. Squeezing it all tight. Inhale. And exhale to let it all go. Arms out. Feet, heels can come to the corners of your mat. Maybe you press into shoulders, a slight lift of the heart. Turning palms toward the ceiling, a gesture of receiving. And honoring your practice with a short, sweet Shavasana. A lovely opportunity for integration. In these final moments, again, a brief scan to observe if there's any unnecessary holdings, the residue of the shapes. And with your exhalations, an invitation to soften in the eyes, muscles of the face, and jaw, tongue, away from the roof of your mouth. Back of the neck and occiput heavy, hammocked here. Neck and throat open, unguarded. Heart is supported. Back of the heart soft. The heart protector a little bit more open. The diaphragm, allowing for that connection of the deep instinctual wisdom of who you are to connect right up through into your heart. Lower back, supported, organs, digestive, stomach, pancreas, kidneys, all of these systems relaxing, nourished. The pelvis, soft. Legs heavy. Feet open. Now, depending on where you are in your day and what's happening, allowing yourself to either stay here longer, lingering in your Shavasana, or slowly beginning to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Allowing yourself maybe to rotate hands around the wrists, feet, around the ankles. You can bend your knees if it's morning where you are, waking up for the second time. If it's evening, maybe you prepare for your final dinner or whatever you do to take you into your Saturday night, right? And just allowing yourself to slowly transition, maybe rocking to one side or rocking on your spine. And we'll meet back up sitting. Just gently closing our practice. I'll offer these words as you transition. That before you know kindness as the deepest thing inside, you must know sorrow as the other deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow and speak it till your voice catches the thread of all sorrows and you see the size of the cloth. Then it is only kindness that makes sense anymore. Only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you out into the day to gaze at bread. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, "It is I you have been looking for," and then goes with you everywhere, like a shadow or a friend. With those words, I send that deep, soulful wish of kindness to each and every one of you and to all, so that our practice, this time on our mat, may benefit all beings. With gratitude, namaste.